Spider-Man Homecoming stars Tom Holland as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, and this is the first solo Spider-Man movie iteration in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And in this film, Peter Parker is in high school. He is played by a much younger actor, and he's trying to live out his normal high school life. But this movie takes place right after the events of Captain America Civil War, so Peter Parker has this new suit, and he wants to prove himself to Tony Stark that he can be an Avenger. So Spider-Man goes to the streets and try to fight off crime, and what he does is some more smaller scale things like stopping bike thieves or helping old ladies cross the street. So Spider-Man is really trying to find that crime that can show Iron Man that he himself can be an Avenger. And this is where Spider-Man finds the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton, who's doing some cynical stuff. So Spider-Man feels like it is up to him to stop the Vulture and prove himself to Tony Stark. And also this time Peter Parker is dealing with high school, and he's really trying to work out high school life and Spider-Man life and which one he should really do. Now over the course of 15 years, this is the 6th Spider-Man movie released in theaters with the 3rd new actor playing him. I really like Tom Holland in Civil War. I've grown to really like him as an actor and as Peter Parker, and I was very interested in how they would do this new Spider-Man movie, since this is the first Spider-Man movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And honestly, I thought they pulled off this movie extremely well. One thing that they did differently with Homecoming that they didn't do with the other Spider-Man movies is actually have a young actor play Spider-Man in high school. Tom Holland, who was about 20 when they filmed this, you actually think that this Peter Parker is in high school, and you really like that about him. And honestly, I thought Tom Holland did a great job in this. He gave Peter Parker a nice scope of innocence, and also showing off a case of the quite nerdy Peter Parker, but also the fun, quippy Spider-Man. And Michael Keaton as the Vulture, I think he did a really good job. Homecoming does a great job at fleshing out Michael Keaton's character as the villain, and I have to give props for Marvel because I think this is a fleshed out Marvel villain. So, good job guys! You fleshed out a villain! You're really intrigued with Michael Keaton's storyline, and it pays off in the end with Peter Parker when the two battle it out. And yes, Robert Downey Jr. is in the movie as Iron Man. Even though he is a big presence in the trailers and commercials, his part in the movie isn't that big. Tony Stark has a big presence in the film, with Peter Parker always trying to look up to him and trying to show that he can be an Avenger, but his scenes are not that big. He has like 4 scenes, but when Robert Downey Jr. is in the movie, he does the role very well. Again, he's basically on autopilot at this point for playing Tony Stark, but what can I say? He does a great job at Tony Stark. One thing I really loved and was surprised about Homecoming was the tone of the movie. Since they are having Peter Parker in a younger role in high school, they were trying to go for a nice high schooly feel, and I felt like they played this off as a fantastic high school movie. It had great feels of John Hughes with the awkwardness and stressfulness of high school, and I thought it had a nice twist to Peter's Parker role that instead of just being a special human being Spider-Man, they also made him an awkward average teenager, and I thought that was really different. And while I did really love that, I thought it kind of goes into one of the faults of the movie. Throughout the whole movie, when they do have the tone of high school, there's also a side plot, as I said, with Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, with Spider-Man trying to prove himself to be an Avenger. I also like the storyline. There's a time where these two storylines don't really flow well together, and they feel kind of separate, especially having the Marvel Cinematic Universe storyline feel mainly like a tag-on. It was like a last-minute thing, even though it probably wasn't. An hour into this movie, when there's a big action scene in Washington, D.C., this is a continuation of the high school storyline. And then there's about 20 more minutes of the movie, and then there goes the Staten Island ferry scene, which brings back the Marvel Cinematic Universe storyline. It's certainly fun to watch, but when Tony Stark comes back in like an hour and a half into the movie, it feels kind of off and surprising, like you kind of forgot he was in the movie, but the script was like, hey, we still have Iron Man in this movie, and you're gonna remember him. So at that time, it did feel kind of off, but it does kick off a nice storyline and theme that Spider-Man does have to learn in the last 30 minutes of the movie, so I did appreciate it. But at the end, this conflict with the two tones of high school and Marvel trying to resolve themselves, and in the last 15 minutes when they do this, it does feel kind of forced on and incoherent. Because at the end of the Vulture conflict, which is about 2 hours into the movie, you still have 15 to 20 minutes left of the movie. That 20 minutes of the movie is mainly used to set up Spider-Man in the Avengers and to resolve the Tony Stark Spider-Man storyline. And while it's fine, it just felt like it went on for too long, which kind of dragged on the end of the movie. Which is fine, because I still really liked almost all of the whole movie. But the last 15 minutes did feel like an add-on, and it did drag a bit. While I was interested in that storyline, I was more interested in the high school storyline. And also, just a quick sidetrack, I did feel like the ending battle with the Vulture was extremely anticlimactic. When it was over, I was surprised. I'm like, oh, is that it? That's the end? I wasn't really digging it. I thought there would be more, but it's fine. The ending was just fine. And yeah, I did love a lot of the characters. I love Peter Parker. I love Michael Keaton's the Vulture. I even like Peter Parker's friend Ned. But Zendaya's character, who plays Michelle, completely unnecessary. While I did like her presence and she does have some nice jokes in the movie, I thought she was just there in the movie to remind audiences for a sequel to say, hey, I was in the first one, don't forget about me. She really had no reason to be in this movie. Her role, if you take it out of the movie, completely same movie. She really did not need to be in this at all. But yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, I did not hate this movie. I really liked it. I thought it was a great addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was very different for a Spider-Man movie compared to what we've got previously, and I really liked it. I love Tom Holland. I love Michael Keaton. I really like the action scenes. Even though I really like the two tones of the high school storyline and the Marvel storyline, when they were put together, I didn't think they mashed as well as the writers thought they would. But overall, I really like Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the future, and I can say that Spider-Man Homecoming is a great movie. So that's Spider-Man Homecoming. Have you seen the movie? Have you not seen the movie? Whatever you think, you can put in the comments below and maybe I'll read it, maybe I won't. Thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't, you can watch my last video right here, and you can watch this upcoming video right over here. You should click it. Again, thank you as always for watching. Hope to see you next time.